Right now, it is my pleasure to introduce a very funny man. All right, let's calm down, calm down. He's still just a regular guy. Kick back, relax, and enjoy this evening's very special entertainment. Known for his dry wit, the Saturday Night Live weekend update commentator, and for his movies Dirty Work and Screwed, and The Norm Show, please, a wonderful Omaha welcome for Norm MacDonald.
Woo! Hey, Brian. Hey, guys. What's up, man? Hi. Yeah, man, it's live. It's Saturday night. You guys have a bunch of twinkly things. They didn't tell me everything before I got out here. They didn't tell me that there would be twinkling things. But I can deal with it. But no, listen, I was, it harkened me back listening to the beautiful speaking, like, you know, because I remember that, you know, it's 8 o'clock, and do you know where your children's at and stuff? And it harkened back to me, because a half hour earlier, I was saying the same thing. I was in the restaurant. I was like, 7:30, man. Anybody know where my pork chop is? You ever try to get a pork chop at this joint? I mean, you guys like pork? You don't like pork? Call yourself Americans? No, listen. I tell you something. I'll tell you something about this restaurant. I don't know about in here if you get special stuff, but where I was eating, I asked for a Coca-Cola because that's my favorite drink, you know. I go, hey, man, can I have a Coca-Cola? And they say, we don't got that. We got Pepsi-Cola. I was like, oh. And this is a new thing that's happening, I've noticed, across the country. I'd like to get to the bottom of it because Coca-Cola is a delicious drink. And oftentimes, you go to a town, you go, hey, man, where do I go to get a Coke? And they're like, yeah, not here, fella. You know? They have their towns that Pepsi has somehow, even though Coke, and people, see, they think in their minds, they think that if your favorite drink in the entire world is Coca-Cola, then your second favorite drink will be Pepsi-Cola, which is flawed reasoning. Actually, if your first favorite drink is Coca-Cola, your least favorite drink is Pepsi-Cola. That's how it works. And you can tell they're kind of ashamed of you. You got a Coke? They're like, nah, Pepsi. They give you a lot of that. Is that okay? So you go, no, I don't want that. What else you got? You got any other soda? And then when they got the Pepsi, they always have these weird other sodas. They go, oh, yeah, we got different. We got, you like root beer? We got that. And you're like, well, I'm not 8. I don't know. We got Diet Pepsi. What are you even asking me that? I just said. We got Sierra Mist. Oh, I'm glad, man. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask, but I didn't dare, you know, because every time I go, they don't have it. But that's my favorite drink. You know, you go to a restaurant, you go, hey, here's the whitefish. What do you want with that? You got any Sierra Mist? Give me that. What? No Sierra Mist. What kind of hen house horse shit is this? Trying to run a joint here? What kind of business? Honey, get your coat. I'll get the car. I'll bring the car around. You get your coat. I have Sierra Mist. Can you believe these characters? Kind of a. But no, I had a pork. I had a nice, delicious piece of pork, a pork chop, you know. Pork, I don't know. I don't think it's that good for you, but I like it. I'm pretty sure it's not good for you because it's a pig. But I like it. Anything with a snout, I don't think you're supposed to eat. I think that may be in the scriptures. I'm not sure, but I recall something about that. My doctor has me on a snoutless diet right now. He says I got to exercise every day, aerobics and latissimus dorsi, all that shit, you know, get my back and everything, and then no snouts. But no, my friend, let me tell you something. My friend, who is a vegetarian, she's a girl, you know, like all vegetarians are, and you don't mean a lot of dudes, you know. But anyway, she was talking to me about the vegetarianism stuff, right? Now, have you ever had this experience where you think something's right your whole life, you know, and then in a moment, in a flash, you realize you've been wrong about everything you've ever believed ever. Not everything, but that one thing. By the way, if you ever wake up and you realize you've been wrong about everything in your entire life, that's not a good day then. You may as well go down to the rope store and buy yourself a length of rope. Then go down to the stool store, get yourself a nice stool. Then you go over to the notepad store, you buy yourself a notepad. Then you get a pen. You only really need 4 things. And must be hard to write those notes. You know, what, I'm supposed to write it on this little thing? Everything that drove me to end my life? I don't know where to start. But anyways, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, pork. No, because my friend who's a vegetarian, this girl, she was telling me, you know, we always argue because she's a vegetarian and I am not a vegetarian. And so she has her opinions and I have my opinions. And I realized that her opinions are actually stronger than my opinions. Like she'll say to me, she goes, you can't eat, animals because they're God's creatures too, you know what I mean? And you shouldn't destroy another creature of our great God just so that you could have a frivolous meal that would not be necessary. You can't extinguish the life of and then I go, I like pork. That's my opinion. So that's not a good argument at all. So anyways, the upshot of it is that people can change, thank God, through the glory of God, people can come to changes in life. And I am now a vegetarian, so that's nice, you know. Thank you very much. I'm not a strict vegetarian. I eat meat, but I am a vegetarian, but not a strict one. I only eat meat. You know what I don't like is vegetables. I can't eat those. I can't stand eating vegetables. So in the strictest term, strictest use of the word, strict, I'm not a strict vegetarian. But you know what she does, my friend that is a vegetarian? She makes this thing every Thanksgiving. I don't know if you've ever eaten this. It's called a tofurky. Tofu. It's an unwieldy word. No one likes to hear it. But it's a turkey, but it's not really a turkey. You know? Sounds like a turkey because it's got a lot of the same letters. But what they do is they take tofu, you see, and then they fashion it into the countenance of a turkey. Yeah? Which doesn't fool me. And also, I don't understand why she does it on account of she's making it into the thing that she doesn't want to eat in the first place. That seems... I would not do that, Like I'm against cannibalism, As you all know, as any of you know that follow me on the Google space, WW. I have gone across this country with my anti-cannibal stance, talking to people from one side of this great nation to the other. Every year I put my toe in the Pacific and I travel this great land with my anti-cannibal message. You know? Mostly the young people. I try to educate the young people. You know, I go to the schools and I go, listen. You might think that you're going to be the cool guy because you eat a dude friend of yours, you know? And maybe you will for a couple of years, you know? Maybe you'll be the big man on campus. Oh, that's Jim. He ate a fella. But there's more to it than that. No, I use my time for you know what I do? I do a lot of charity work for things that people, I don't like arguing with people, you know, when they have another opinion than me. So what I do is I pick very popular opinions, and then I work for those people. Like, for instance, there was, you know the landmine big thing? Princess Diana, one of the greatest people who ever lived, she was against landmines. So tragically, she died, you know, before her landmine crusade really got rolling, you know. And of course, it was a terrible tragedy and everything like that. And then she died, and hey, how about this? Remember when she died, and then Elton John wrote that song for her, but it was the same song that he wrote for Marilyn Monroe? It seems like kind of a jip. But the king's like, hey, man, you wrote a song for my daughter? I don't know if there's a king. You wrote a song for Princess Diana? Yes. Well, you all ready? She just died an hour ago. Yeah, I wrote it. I wrote it. And here it is. She lived her life like a candle in the wind. Wait a minute. It sounds like that song you wrote about Marilyn Monroe. Well, it's a little bit. Some of the same words. Well, why'd you do that? Because they're similar when you think about it. Come on. Marilyn Monroe, she was taking crazy drugs and promiscuous, running around. Man, you know, you never knew if she was going to live or die. She's just living her life crazy like a candle in the wind, you know. And Princess Di, she lived in a castle. But, you know, they're sort of the same. They were blonde. I got to go. But anyways, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that I am very against landmines. So I will go and I will make, I'll go to protests, you know. And I'll have a big sign that says, no more landmines. Because if you don't know about landmines, hey, you're educating me about stuff tonight. I'll educate you a little about landmines, you know, because there's many different causes, you know. And landmines are terrible. What they are is they put them underneath the earth, and then you step on them, and they blow you up. So I go there, and I protest against them. And what's fun about it is there's very few counter-protesters. You know, there's a couple of guys out there, but clearly these guys are in the pocket of the, you know, big landmine companies in this country. You know? I don't mean to get all Bill Maher on you or anything, but if you think that the landmine companies in this country care about you, the little person, they don't care about you. They care about blowing you up when you're not expecting it. That's how they make their money. No, whatever. But, no, I was going to say about, she makes this tofu. And what I was going to say was that as a anti-cannibal guy, It would never occur to me to do the same thing as she does with her tofurky. I would not take all my delicious cheese sandwiches and fashion them into the shape of some old rotting corpse of some dude and then eat that. That would make it less tasty than the cheese sandwich itself, to me. But listen, it's easy to go around saying, hey, I'm against cannibalism. Oh, I'm anti-cannibalism. Look at me. I'm better than everybody else, you know. I know it's easy to say because I say it every day to people. But actually, when you think about it, you don't really know how you're going to, you know, how your cannibalism beliefs are going to stand up under when it comes up. Because you'll notice in life, cannibalism rarely comes up. There's always some cheese sandwiches around you can find, you know. But what about when you're in the Andes? Well, then all bets are off. You have to wrestle with your conscience because you're in the Andes. I don't even know why people go to the Andes, but they do. They go, hey, listen, travel agent, me and the wife, Ruth, you know Ruth, we're going, we got to get away from the kids again this year. We got to go to Island. We were hoping something on the other side of the Andes. Anything you got there? We just want to relax, lay on a hammock or something, and we want to go to a nice place that is separated from where we are now by the Andes. And got any small planes? We like flying in small aerofoils. In the dead of winter. You got anything like that? And they're like, yeah. So you get on the plane, and, 20 minutes later, you crash into a mountain, because everyone knows it's on the boarding pass. It says, layover, a mountain. So you crash into the mountain, and then, you gotta wrestle with your conscience, because, you're down there, and the guy in 24E is looking pretty delicious. And so days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months. Months, you know how time works, right? I don't have to explain everything. Then becomes now. So and then you have to wrestle with your conscience because you're like, my conscience. And your conscience is very, if you don't want to wrestle with your conscience because, So, although it's not as hard as wrestling with an actual wrestler, I find. If you have your choice between wrestling with your conscience and wrestling with a professionally trained wrestler, I'd take the conscience because it doesn't even have arms. And for wrestling, like the headlock is the biggest move. If you don't have arms. So anyways, you're wrestling with your conscience and you're like, oh man, should I eat that guy in 24E? I don't know. It looks pretty good, but I don't think it's right and all this stuff. And then time goes on and you get, and instead of just acting right away, which would probably be the smarter thing, you wait way too long and months pass and then you go crazy and then you go after Frank, that's his name, in 24E, and you're just, you're so hungry now, you're tearing into him, you're like, Frank, blood all over you and everything, Anyways, and that's the last, and this is what you don't want to happen at that point, is for the rescue plane to come over at that very moment, Well, you're like, what the? They're like, we have hamburgers and hot dogs here on the plane. And delicious cheese sandwiches, everything you want here. You're like, what? A lot of snow. Oh, Lord God. Let me get a drink of this water. You like water? It's better than that Pepsi shit. Ow. Water's good for you. What about guys? You ever just have guys that have their favorite water? They're like, Fiji, that's what I drink. Water, Fiji water. It's the most tasteless, colorless water of all. This one has 0 fat, like I'm a retard. Like I wouldn't be able to detect globules of fat in my water. It's cyanide-free. No, but listen, man. I'm not afraid of no monsters, you know. We spend, when you think about it, man, we spend most of our adult life petrified of monsters, you know. And I'm just coming to I'm saying enough, man. You know? I'm not gonna live under the tyranny of these monsters that walk among us, you know? If they get me, they get me. And some of them I don't even know what's so scary about them. Like now they got a movie I seen, Wolfman, you know, which is very scary, right? A Wolfman. You know, they got a movie, and it's like a werewolf. I think it's exactly the same. I'm not sure. I haven't studied it close enough. But I believe, like, if a wolf man came at you and stuff, you went, werewolf, people wouldn't go, it's a wolf man, you idiot. But my point is this. I am not afraid of a wolf man or a werewolf because when you think about what they are, they're half man and half wolf. So therefore, I am only half afraid of them as I am of a wolf. And there's no movie called The Wolf. See, if you got a wolf man, half the time he's a man. You can reason with him. Yeah? You can sit down, have a cheese sandwich. But a wolf, man, you can't reason with a wolf. A wolf only wants to eat you. So I'm not afraid of a werewolf. I'm not afraid of ghosts. They don't scare me, you know? Not at all. I mean, I don't want to say I'm invulnerable to fear, but they simply don't frighten me. You know? First of all, what do? You know? They just go, which that's not that scary to me. Yeah? And then they're invisible. They're like, and you're like, what? You're invisible. You can put your hand through them. That kind of a person never frightens me. You know the kind of guys that frighten me? You ever meet those guys where you can't put your hand through them? I don't care for those fellas. But when I can put my hand through them, doesn't scare me in the least. This is how unscary they are. I was at a hotel a couple of weeks ago. In the lobby, they were saying they were bragging about there was a ghost in the hotel. You know, how scary can that be? You know what I mean? They're like, every night, Mary with the blue dress. That was her nickname. She was murdered, and she hangs around the bed. You know what I mean? And she'll come over, and so beware, because Mary with the blue dress. Which was her nickname, which was an odd nickname, because you'd think her nickname would be Mary the Ghost. You know. When they came time to pick out her nickname, you know, I think they were like, They go, hey, what do you notice about Mary that makes her distinctive? We got to come up with a nickname for her. I know she wears a lot of blue dresses. She seems to have an affinity toward blue dresses. You're talking about Mary, right? The transparent lady? So I would call her Mary the Ghost. And anyways. And all they seem to do is complain, these ghosts. You ever notice that? I was like, I can't. Everything's wrong. They're never happy or nothing, you know? They're like, something bad happened to me. And if I don't get it cleared up, I have to travel all through the world in pain and sorrow, you know? And then I'm like, well, I do too. What the hell? At least you get to walk through walls and stuff. You get to do cool stuff. I think I'll have some more water. I love water. You know, I used to do news on Saturday Night Live, and sometimes people think I know something about news. That's the funny part, because I don't know anything about news. And, like, I'll watch it on the TV, and I don't know what they're talking about, you know. And but I watch it all the time, you know. I'll turn on the TV, and then they go, welcome, the deficit. And I go, ha, ha, ha. I've heard that word before. Yeah, that's about all I know. But I watch it. You don't have to know about everything, you know. When I was young, you didn't have to know about anything. Now you have to know about everything. Everybody got an opinion and stuff. Yeah. You're supposed to know about every single... One guy asked me a couple weeks ago, he goes, Norm, how do you feel about stem cell research? I was like, me? Why don't I tell you what, why don't I go to scientist school for 10 years, and then I'll come back here to this very spot, and I'll tell you what those 3 words mean. How's that? I don't know. I don't know. That's mostly my answers. And a lot of people don't know. Like you'll see on the, if you ever watch the news, you ever see the news? It's on at 6. They show the news, right? And they'll have a question. And a lot of people don't know, just like me. They'll have a question. They'll show a pie chart. So they'll say, does President Barack Obama deficit reduction, question mark, something like that. And then they show a pie chart, you know, so you go, oh, man, that looks like a pie. You know, you get happy. And then they have like it cut up, and they'll say like 47% yes, 48% no, 5% I don't know. So that's like me, you know. There's no shame in that. No shame at all. Well, I phone them every time there's a one of those things on CNN, like one of those polls. I phone up. I want to get on that pie chart. You know, I phone up. I go, hello, excuse me. Is this the TV? Yeah, you just asked me a question. I don't know. How the hell am I supposed to know? I didn't even understand most of the words in the question. What's that cost? $1.50? Is that what it said at the start of it? Excellent. All right. I better get on that pie chart. I'll tell you that. I'm not a guy to throw away 12 bits on, you know, on nothing. To tell you be quite honest with you, nothing. Oh, look at that. So, you know, I don't know a lot about stuff, you know. Like sometimes when I go to parties and stuff, because everybody got opinions and stuff like that, what I'll do is I go to parties not to talk opinions with people and elevate myself or anything like that. I go to parties to try to get me some free sandwiches, you know, because I find at parties often you can find, if you look, cheese sandwiches for free. And often what they do is they'll put other stuff in it, you have to take it out, so you just get the cheese, but whatever, you know. It's free. And but the other people I notice, they go there to converse and talk of the issues of the day and so forth like that at the parties, and I don't like that kind of stuff, you know. So I tried, and I don't know anything. See what I mean? So what I'll do is before I go to the party, I just turn on the TV, you know, on one of them channels with news, and then there's a guy with a suit and a tie. I just say whatever he says. I'll say that at the party, and it usually works. I'll just go to the party and everybody will be yapping. They'll be like, deficit and health care, trillion, billion. Then I go, yeah. Hey, I got an opinion. Listen to this now. I blame the media. Because the media is not entirely... without following anything about it, I mean, you know, you can't just completely say that the media. Anybody seen them sandwiches? The fellow over there was telling me there were sandwiches where they cut the crests off, and they're in triangles. Fellow over there. And he said they had toothpicks with frilly toothpicks in them. None is. Not a single one is. All right, fair enough. But I have a thing, see, I have a thing where I can judge guys that are at my own smartness level. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you ever got caught talking to a smart guy. You ever have that happen to you? That's not a lot of fun. Like you're at a party and you're at that kitchen part where there's that big square thing. I don't even know what it is, but you're all standing around, and then there's 5 of you and 3 of you leave, and it's just you and the smart guy, and the guy's got a pipe or something. He's like, anyway, how about that leader from the foreign country? What about his name? You're like, ah. I'm going to go ahead and look for them sandwiches, but I'm coming back to talk to you. I'm not running away, if that's what you think. I'm not going to run out that side door right over there and run full speed down the street. I don't think that. No. So what I do, I have a very good, I can go to my own, you know what I mean? The people that are at my smartness levels. So if I'm in a party, right, I can go right into the party and immediately, like they, they say gay guys have gaydar, they can sense other gay people. I'm like that with like guys of my dumb level. I can walk up, I can just go, immediately I'll say, hey, I bet I can keep up with that guy over there. Then I make a beeline over for that character. And then we talk about, Jughead comics or something for a while. I don't know. We have a grand old time. And I try to pocket a couple of cheese sandwiches and take off. But it's hard to talk to anybody just in regular life, you know? I don't know how to do it, especially like one-on-one, like talking, you know? It's so hard to, with people, like my friend was saying, you got to listen. That's the most important thing in a conversation. Listen to the person that's talking to you. But that's not enough, because eventually that other guy will stop talking. I'm good at that part. But, and then you go, oh, sorry, I forgot to think of something to say there. You keep talking, and the next time you stop, I'll say something. So you got to do 2 things at once. So you got to listen to the guy, everything he's saying, plus anything he says that you may know something about, you know, you got to keep that in your head for when he stops talking. You know what I mean? So maybe he's yapping, and all of a sudden he mentions Fonzie or something like that, right? So then, in the back of your head, you go, hey, wait a second, I know something about Fonzie. As soon as this idiot stops talking, I'll say my Fonzie thing. Excellent. Excellent. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Doodly-doodly-doo. Ah. Peace. So this is what it feels like, huh? Doo-doo-doodly-doo. And then maybe the guy changes the subject. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa! Hold on a second there. Wait a minute. No, it's interesting what you're saying now. It's interesting. Hey, but what about then? Remember then? It was earlier than now? You were talking about Fonzie. Yeah, anyways. Interesting thing about Fonzie is this. It's not his real name. Arthur Fonzarelli. That's a true fact, man. You could Google that up on the W. All right, you talk for a while now. You know, it goes on from there. But I don't know. The news, I mean, some of the news I understand, you know, like, but that news isn't real news, you know what I mean? It's just odd, crazy, like Tiger Woods, who's still in it, you know, in this tournament, which is depressing for me because I like Tiger and stuff. And then, you know, Tiger victimized himself, first of all, his family, But and all these women and everything. But he also victimized the golf fan, me. You know what I mean? The guy, I believed in him and I trusted him, and so it was kind of sad for me because I don't care if a guy wants to lie down with ladies and stuff like that. You know, I understand that's a thing guys like to do, but I don't like hypocrisy. You understand what I'm saying? I don't like a hypocrite. And to me, Tiger, when I was watching him, he always presented himself to me as a golfer. You know? I always thought he was a great golfer. I watched him my whole, life. And he'd be in the sand hitting it out, and then the golf ball would come real close, you know what I mean, to the hole. And then he'd put it in and go like that and everything. So I was all happy. I go, man, that guy's a golfer. People would ask me, who's Tiger Woods? I go, he's a golfer. Right? Now, I had no idea he was leading this double life where by day he was a golfer and by night he was laying down with ladies. Otherwise, I never would have bought the Buick. Now I'm driving around a Buick, people snickering at me and stuff, you know? Whatever. No, but he's a sex addict, and that's a hard one. I imagine that's a tough one to kick. Wouldn't that be the worst? Like those meetings, like a sexaholic. What if they have those meetings? What do they call them? They always say aholic. It only really works with alcohol. Like sex, AA, yeah, for sex. That would be a weird. I don't know how that would go. But if you haven't had sex for like a year or something, and then you don't want to hear about some guy's relapse. Guy's like, I've been weak. Oh no, you don't have to tell us. I met her in a bar. She was gorgeous. Please. You have to hug the guy. That's too bad. That's terrible. Well, we all, whatever. But I don't even know if sex, I don't even know if that's a thing. I don't know, It's weird to me because if you're an addict, if you're a heroin addict, you're addicted to heroin. The more heroin you do, the more addicted you are. Booze addict, you're addicted to booze. More booze you do, bigger addict you are, So to me, if you're a sex addict, let's say, sometimes you meet these guys like, hey, man, this guy's 70 years old, and he's been married since he was 20. Still happy, still have a healthy sex life, still has sex with his wife, every week or so, Then wouldn't you think, that guy's a sex addict? He is a sex addict to such a degree that he's willing to have sex with a 70-year-old lady. That's hitting bottom there, If you're going around getting a whole bunch of different ladies, that's not a sex addict. That's just a beautiful lady addict. I don't know what you call that. But if you're willing to just anything at all, just whatever's beside you after 50 years, you're like, I don't even like you anymore, but or whatever they do, whatever noise they make. Man, I don't like those news stories that's scary either, man. That's why I don't like watching the news no more. Because when I was a kid, just news stories be real stuff, like about the world or whatever. But now they'll have little personal stories that have nothing to do with nobody, and they present it as the news, and then you don't want to see them, And I noticed the latest one, they all seem to have, the show will open the news, and there'll be a guy with a suit and a tie, so he's a newsman. And he goes, hey, our top story tonight, a lady has vanished. And you're like, oh, yeah? And they go, yes, she's She's gone. Yeah? Do I know her? No. You never heard of her, but we're going to tell you about her. We got Bill. He's on the outside. They have one guy inside, one guy outside. Bill, what's going on? And then Bill's outside. He's like, yeah, the lady vanished. Her name was Janice, and nobody can find hide in her hair of her car. Was found in the car is fine. It's in the Burger King lot, but we can't find a lady. All right, back to you. And, so then you're at home. You go, well, I don't give a damn on account I never knew her in the first place. How can I possibly care? As a matter of fact, I'm happy it's her and not someone I know. So, but then they go, we'll tell you about it. You go, no, that's cool, I don't really want to know. But they can't help themselves, They go, here or she, oh, hey, Bill, you still outside? And he's like, yeah, of course. And they go, we understand you have some friends, Janice, to tell you about? Yes, we've been talking to some of her friends anyways. Turns out she's a good lady. Breaking news, Janice was a good lady. And we got some of her friends here going to talk about it. And then they show a lady and says, Janice's friend. And she says, oh, Janice, man, she was the greatest. She was the kind of person where you could walk into a room and she would light up the whole room. It was amazing. She didn't have a light or nothing like that. She would just somehow, through sheer tyranny of will, she could make a room light up. Some of us thought it was supernatural, but. And then this is other Janice's friend. Oh, Janice. She was the type of lady I remember that you could always turn to. You know how sometimes you want to turn your neck, because you're having troubles. You want to, or your neck hurts, whatever. But when you turn, the person you most want to see in your eye line would be Janice, And then, if you say Janice's other friend that wasn't one of the first two. Well, Janice, she's the kind of person, you could be talking to your best friend the whole world, and then Janice comes in and goes, screw you, I'm talking to Janice. You go over to Janice. She's a better person than you. It's Janice. And so then at home, you start to get invested in Janice. You start liking her, you know what I mean? And every day they show you more about Janice, and they show different home videos of her, and you're like, hey, honey, look. Oh, I like that hat she's wearing. She's eating a piece of pizza, and you start really liking her, You go, man, that lady's nice. I'd like to meet her one day. I forgot she vanished. Oh, well, they'll find her. I'm sure of it. Then you get hope, and all you can think about is Janice. Your feverish dreams are commanded by Janice's spirit, You can't even think right, And every day you're turning on the news, man, what's going on with Janice? And they keep going, telling, and things progress, and Bill's still outside, and he's like, we're still looking. It's been 3 weeks now. But as we speak, everyone's combing the woods behind me as we speak. And then you're at home, you go, oh, no, not the woods. You don't like to hear that. Nothing good ever happens in the woods. I've seen enough of these stories to realize that Janice is not going to come bounding out of the woods anytime soon. It's like, hey, what's going on, everybody? I was just taking a stroll through the woods. What's going on? Why are you taking pictures of me anyway? What's going on? Now, if they find you in the woods, generally, they find you in one spot. As a matter of fact, exclusively, every time, if you're found in the woods, you're found in a shallow grave. That's the way it works. I don't know why, but I've seen enough Bill Curtis specials to know that shallow grave is where you want to end up. Certain things you don't want on your death certificate. One would be shallow grave. Massive. You wouldn't want to see that on your death certificate, the word massive. Or maybe you would. I don't know. Maybe that'd be a good one. What about complications? That's the one that always confused me. I'm like, what the fuck? You go, hey, Doc, what did my dad die again? It's complicated. It's complications. He died from them. Well, how'd that work? You told me it was going to be a simple operation. Yeah, we thought it was. You're not a doctor, are you? It looks simple in the book. But once we cut him open, man, a lot of red stringy stuff in your dad. Very complicated when you get in there, really. Well, anyways, goodbye. So, yeah, you don't want to see shallow grave in any of your, in any of the Fourth Estate's account on your being dispatched. So, and also, doesn't it seem a little rash, a shallow grave, Like after all their planning, these serial killers, they're supposed to be so cunning, so diabolical according to the TV movies I've seen. And doesn't it seem a little rash at the end that all of a sudden it's just shallow grave, It's just, wouldn't you think they'd go to a little, yeah? There's like, there you go, a couple of leaves and a twig. That doesn't look like Janice. I don't remember Janice having twigs and leaves all over. Nobody will find her. A Boy Scout ain't going to stumble over her tomorrow morning, I know that much. I'm going home and await the authorities. And then they go home. Now, I would, if I ever did that, and I would never slaughter and kill a woman. I want you to know that. I know I say that now. Who knows? Can't predict the future, but I know there's not a river long enough that does not contain a bend. But I believe right now I would not slaughter a woman. And maybe it's just vanity talking. The scriptures say that man is mostly vanity. But in my vanity, I do not believe I would do it, But if I did do it, if I somehow snapped, because who would ever know, I would plan it out. I'd be very, very careful about it, I would track the lady, because there's still a stigma, even in today's enlightened society, when you slaughter a lady. So I would track the lady. You understand? I would find out. This is what you got to do. You got to find out her habits. Like maybe you go, hey man, I know she goes to that cheese sandwich store every day, and when she comes back, she's got a big paper bag of stuff. I'll bet you anything there's cheese sandwiches in there. Eh? So then you put that up in your head. Lady likes cheese sandwiches. It's one piece of information, but you take your time. Then you notice, you see another pattern. You go, hey, every Wednesday night, that lady goes down to the gymnasium and plays basketball with other ladies, which is fine nowadays. So, what I would do is I would stand outside of the gym, and she'd come out there all sweaty with a ridiculously tri-colored ball, and she'd be finished her game, and then where would I be? I'd be standing at the other side of the parking lot, and in my hand, what do you think would be resting but a cheese sandwich, right? So then she'd go, hey, what's in your hand? I go, what, nothing? She'd go, yeah, there's something in your hand. I go, there's nothing in my hand. I don't know what you're talking about. She'd go, there's something in your hand. I'm not blind. I see something in your hand. I go, there's nothing in my, oh, yeah, this. Oh, no, it's just a cheese sandwich. What, why, you like them or something? I got a whole bunch in that van over there. Yeah, that craziest looking van you've ever seen in your life. It's right over there. You want to go there? You want to go get some? And by the way, if you ever do this, and I don't think you ever should, you don't have to have cheese sandwiches in the van. unless you're proud of your detailed work or something like that. I don't want you to go, if you're a frugal serial killer, I'm the last that would advise you to throw away all kinds of money on cheese and double the amount on bread, Should bread and cheese cost the exact same amount of money? But anyways, I would plan it out. That's what I'm saying. And then I would take the lady and I would never do this, of course, but I would take the lady in the van to a remote area, where there was a wooden shack that I had constructed, and it was silenced to the point that her screams would just echo off the walls, never to reach civilized ear again. And then I would do whatever it is that they do that gives you that godlike power, and then I would take her to the woods and I would bury her in the deepest grave ever. That would be most of my plan. The grave. Like 2 years before I had selected a victim, I would be working on the grave. I'd get 50, 100-foot grave. As a matter of fact, if I had any sense in my head, as my dad used to say about me, I would start digging the grave now. Just in case, because you never know when you're going to snap. I should go home and just dig a big, deep 100-foot grave, And worst case scenario, like my dad used to say, hey, a little hard work never hurt anybody, goddammit, And best case scenario, I slaughter a lady and get away with it. If you're gonna slaughter a lady, and I'm completely against it, it's much better to slaughter a lady and get away with it than slaughter a lady and not get away with it. That's just, I don't know, because I've not done either. I would have to talk to one of you that have done both to really get an answer. But I would suspect, like anything, not getting caught, is the better choice than getting caught. It's funny, the things we think we're afraid of, because the things we're really afraid of in life, like monsters, and serial killers and terrorists and stuff like that, they ain't going to do nothing, Like, what's the chances, really, you know what I mean? But you're always afraid, like earthquake or something like that, tsunami, you're always afraid of this crazy stuff. But you're not, the stuff that really gets you, you're not afraid of. You don't even think about it, Like, you're always like, man, I hope a terrorist doesn't attack and kill me, right? What's the chance of that happening? Like 1 in a billion? A terrorist ain't going to attack and kill you, But what's the chance that you're going to be attacked and killed by your own heart? What, 100%? Yeah, nobody even thinks about that. Nobody even cares about that. Your heart can attack and kill you. And yet people like their hearts, They give you for Valentine's, oh, a heart, ooh. People go, man, that guy's got a big heart. I go, you better fucking watch out on account of I could kill him. Does he know that? That it will attack and kill him when he's not expecting it at all? That's what happened to my dad. His heart attacked and killed him. It was tough. I don't know if you ever loved anybody, but when you love somebody and then their heart attacks and kills them, man, it makes you sad. And my dad, I love more than anybody, and he never saw it coming, He thought his heart was on his own side. He was looking around for terrorists, shit like that. And just one time, boom, his heart got him. He was lying in his bed, and boom, by the time he hit the floor, they say he was dead. And I was the second guy after my mom to see him, and blood, it was black. I thought it'd be red. And he was lying there, and I was so sad. It was the most saddest moment ever. And it was too late. He was dead already, And then the people came in the white. They wear white. They're not doctors, but they wear white. And it was too late. And they just try to make you feel better, you know. They just say anything, you know. Like one guy was like, "Don't worry, Norm, he never felt a thing. He died in his sleep." And I was like, "Really? When his heart attacked and killed him?" Because I wake up if my cat walks across my belly. So I don't know if my dad was that sound a sleeper. And another guy said, "Don't worry, Norm, he's in a better place." I said, "He's on a floor. Dead. Earlier, he was alive on the bed with the Tempur-Pedic pillow I got him for Christmas." I'm not a doctor, but I think that's the worst place. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I have my faith. So as long as I have my faith, you know, I'm all right. As long as you have faith. If you don't have faith, forget it. You're through. But you know, you can have other things, I guess. You guys drink booze? If you don't have faith, like I have faith, you know, I have deep faith. But if I didn't, I think I'd go for booze. Because it seems like, you know, seems like a good thing. My buddy, everybody has diseases. My buddy has alcoholism, which is a disease. And he told me that. He said, "Norm, I got a disease of alcoholism. You know, it's taken over my life. And it is a disease, you know." But I always try to look on the bright side of things. And I told him, I said, "Listen, Bobby," his name's Bobby, I said, "You know, it's true you got a disease and everything, you know, but you got to look at the bright side because that's what I believe in. And as far as diseases go, I think you got the best one," I told him, you know. Because it's the only disease where you get to drink a lot of booze all the time. As a matter of fact, that is the disease. Just drinking booze. It's not exactly bowel cancer. You know, like my Uncle Basil, he has bowel cancer. I would not, and I don't think my buddy Bobby, the alcoholic, would ever go to my Uncle Basil and go, "Hey, I hear you got bowel cancer. I know how you feel, man. I drink booze." Those diseases, good Lord. What are your symptoms? My bowel hurts a lot and I bleed from the bowel. How about you? I get happy. And sometimes I go somewhere, I meet someone that has the same disease as me, and then I have sex with them that night. That's in the latter stages of the disease. But listen, man, I'm just an old chunk of coal, you know. I'm going to be a diamond someday. Don't worry about it. It'll happen through the grace of God, you know. You guys like God? I mean, you do God's work, you know, even if you don't know it. I have always been very religious, you know. But I'm a specific religion. I don't want to tell you what religion, you know, because I don't know if my religion is the exact correct one. Even though I know there's a God for sure, I'm not 100% sure that my guy is the right guy. And actually, that's one of my biggest fears is after I die, I get up to heaven, I'm like, "Oh, God, not you. I thought it was the other fella." What? Oh, God, he was a good public speaker, you got to admit that. Not him at all? No? Well, how about that? So what now? I got to get raped by the devil forever or something? So that's my worst fear, you know, because I try to do good, and I try to, even though I'm an old chunk of coal, I want to be a diamond someday, you know. I want to be the world's best friend, you know, go around shaking everybody's hand, you know what I mean? I want to be a good guy. But maybe God, through even an old wretch like me, can do something. But you guys do things for children. What's better than children? You know what I mean? I had a child. I still have one. He's like 10, 15, something like that. Time goes by so quickly. You know, it's hard to remember details. No. But he's He's beautiful. When you have a child, man, you got love. It's unbelievable. You never had it before. You realize you've never had it once you have it. You know? Like when you have a child, you go, oh my God, what the hell is that? You know? Like I know you used the word love before and everything like that, but you're like, whoa, that is something. And then your single friends, they don't understand. You go, hey, Jim, man, you got to get one of these. This is the craziest feeling I ever had. Like, I just all through my body, all I feel is like happy. And then the guy goes, is it like crystal meth? And you go, no, what? I don't want to be your friend anymore, friend. No. This is love. This is love. And then actually, sometimes you have this is the flip side of it, the bad moment, because you said earlier that you loved other things before you saw this, you know, which is what you really love. And so there's always a bad moment when you're looking at that, and then you look over at your wife. You ever do that? You're like, oh, look at this. I love. That's love. Oh. Hey there, lady. What's going on there? Yes, this is it. And it makes sense, you know, because it's pure and doesn't lie, and it's you, and it's your blood and your DNA and your Aunt Hazel's nose part right there, and everything. And so how can that compete to some lady that you met in a bar one night? How can that possibly compete with that? So anyways. The children. I love children. It's funny, like you can't love children anymore because, you know, even though Jesus, and I'll tell you something, I don't want to say any specific religion is better than all the false ones, but this is the only religion, I'll tell you, that I am against. The Church of Satan. Any retard knows that's not the right one. I think even Satan himself admits it. Anyway, you know, so Jesus was. That's one of the only. I think it's the only religion that puts children at the core. You know, of their religion. You know, they love children. So that's good because I love children. But when my child was young, though, it was always worry. You know, I remember when he was really young and. I was worried about everything. I remember one time, like he was only 4 days old or something, I was watching TV and they had a news story. They said, coming up, a news story on crib death. And then I was like, that's where my kid sleeps. You would think crib death would put a crimp in the sales of cribs. If not wipe out the entire industry. That's what I would think. You know? A couple of Toyotas go skidding around, all of a sudden they can't sell cars. But the crib industry, incredibly resilient, actually kills children. One of its defects. I'm calling for a full recall of all the cribs that have killed the children. Oh, man, I'm thirsty. La, 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 la. So, yeah. So I'd probably drink. If I wasn't a person of faith, you know, I'd probably drink a lot of booze and stuff like that. That'd be fun. You gotta do something, you know. And yeah, I don't like drinking though. You ever drink those little shooters that are really like powerful and they have like sex names? They have like filthy names. You know what I'm talking about? So they'll have like sex on the beach. You know what I mean? And so I don't know why they name them like that. I guess because people are drunk and they're like, hey, maybe if I drink that will happen to me. But, of course, if you have a night of drinking, you're not going to end up having sex on the beach. That's never happened in the history of recorded time. You know? But, you know, you're not going to have a shooter bar where you go up and go, yeah, excuse me, can I have a humping a dude I figured was a lady? I swear to God, I thought he was a lady. And also, my friend will have a senseless knife fight. You got one of them? Give him one of them. But, you know what? I don't like drinking. Because I can't drink. I go on the road so often, you know, because I'm a stand-up comic, and I'm also a dangerous drifter. So my hobby and my work dovetail very nicely. I drift from town to town, across this great nation, you know, and I do some stand-up comedy. So I'll be in a town, and the policeman feller will say, "How long you in for?" He won't know that I do stand-up. He just knows me as a drifter. He goes, "I see you're in town, huh?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "How long you gonna be here?" I go, "Just till Monday." "Yeah, I work down there. I got a job, see? I got a job." "Well, you can ask Vic." "I'll be asking Vic. And I want you out of here Monday morning the time you say you're going to be out of here." "I will, sir, I will." And off I go. But what I was going to say was that, you know, as I travel this great nation, you know what I would like to do, actually, is if there is a Great Depression, is that coming, by the way? Because you guys seem to know more than me. Like, will there be a Great Depression? Like, will I be carrying around at some point a stick with a thing on the back of it? And will I be hanging around big garbage cans with fires and making hot dogs with them and sharing them with my friends? And ganging together, you know? We got to gang together in case the other gangs get us. Huh? I don't know. Keep seeing things on the news. Got to prepare myself. What about those things you see on the commercials where you go, I think everything's like retarded now because something's happening weird, you know? Like, you ever see where they'll go like, have a guy in the commercial and he goes, "Hey, you like gold?" And you go, "Yeah." You go, "You ever think of getting gold? Keeping it? It's worth a lot of money." And you go, "Yes, of course I've thought of that ever since I was 5. Daffy Duck. I first thought of it when I watched Daffy Duck when I was 5. "Ah, well, you should get gold. I'm G. Gordon Liddy, and I broke into the Watergate Hotel. You like gold?" I don't even know why the guys. What about guys that, I forget it. I was going to say guys that do commercials where they're, you know when guys are old and they do commercials and you kind of feel sorry for them, you know, because they're old. Like, remember the $6 Million Man? Right? The guy was worth $6 million. No, he's an actor, but he played the $6 Million Man. So when he got this, he goes, "Hey, man, what's the role going to be? You're going to be a guy worth $6 million. Your arms are the best arms, and your eyes, everything." So he's feeling good about himself, you know? He's like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." You know? Because a regular man is not worth $6 million. You'd be surprised to know this, but an actual regular person, if you just took them down to their trace elements, you know what a human body's worth? It's only worth like a couple of $100,000. So, but this guy was worth $6 million. So now, anyway, I seen him on the commercial. He sells the bionic ear. So this is kind of sad to me, that he was at one time, Hollywood, $6 million man, and now he's like, I don't hear too good. You want to buy this? The bionic ear. And of course, you get gypped because you think of the bionic ear from the show, where it was like, do, 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 and you could hear from a long way away. You know how you could tell the bionic man was fast, by the way? This is kind of a neat trick they did that seems very counterintuitive. But at the start of the bionic man, they'd show a collage of how powerful he was. To show how fast he ran, they would show him running in slow motion. So he'd be like this, da, da, and you go, God damn, that guy's fast. You go, man, I wish I could run that fast. How does he run that fast? I always feel sorry for those guys that have to do that. What about those guys that have to they get so old, they do those commercials for old guys that can't get insurance and stuff? That's a bad job. Ed McMahon had it for a while, then he died. After that job, generally you die. But because they pick an actor that's going to die soon, so he can relate to But so now it's Alex Trebek or something, but it's always like, and they're trying to get old people, really old people, to get insurance that it appears they shouldn't be entitled to. And so it's always like, hey, have you never been accepted once? Everybody decline you because you're so close to death? Anyways, we want you. I don't know why, but it's costs $2 a year, and we don't make a lot of money, I'll be honest with you. My father started the business, and he was worth $6 billion 6 years ago, and he blew it all with this ridiculous venture. Anyways, so listen, guys, in honor of the children, because, hey, the children are our future, and I believe that. I don't really believe that because they told me that when I was a kid, and it didn't work out. But I will tell you a joke that a kid told me in a sick kid's hospital. He told me this joke, and he promised me to tell you. And he's going to see his Savior before I mine, probably. Who knows? But his joke is this. This is his joke. He goes, it's a funny joke, and then I'll leave you. But you guys have been great. Thank you so much. So here's the joke. The joke is this. A dog walks into a telegram office, Western Union, I'm supposing. And he didn't know. And he said, so the telegram guy goes, hey, what do you want me to write in your telegram? So the dog goes, woof, 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 woof. So the guy writes it down, you see. And then he says to the dog, he goes, hey, dog, I can't help but notice here, there's only 9 words on your telegram, 10 words or less, it's the same price. If you would like, I could add an extra woof, And then the dog goes, but that wouldn't make any sense. Why would I? Most of his brain stem was gone. He wasn't making a lot of sense. But he was a child. They said he was more host than virus. I don't even know what that means. I'm not a doctor, but no such child exists. All children are beautiful, except the evil ones. I like all children, except British children. I don't like those British children because they remind me of the devil. They're very evil. And, I grew up with the Omen and stuff like that. And, when the Omen was young, Damien, he was all scary and everything, And then later, they did Omen 2, and he was a little older. He was still frightening. And then he was like 13 in the third one, and then he was frightening. Then they did one, he was an adult. He wasn't frightening at all. interesting, huh? You would think that human beings would become more evil as time went on. You know? You wouldn't think that the embodiment of evil would be inside of a child. But, I think that's just the celluloid pictures we get, I think in reality, as the scriptures say, let the children lead us, So let me think if I can think of a joke. It only seems fair. Jeez, I don't know a lot of jokes. Oh, I know a joke. There was a guy who had a great pig, man. This guy had the greatest pig in the world. And so a guy come to his house and said, man, I hear you got the greatest pig in the world. So the farmer goes, are you kidding? You talking about Bill? The guy goes, I don't know, man. I just heard it was a pig. I didn't know it was a name. He goes, yeah, his name's Bill. Bill the pig. And this pig, man, he's the best. He goes, why do you say that? How come you say that? You got any examples? He goes, I got examples. He goes, last summer, man, he goes, our child fell into the well, and was in the well. We didn't even know, and the pig came running. I was at the back 40 hoeing, and the pig grunted and snorted, and I just got my son out just in time. God bless that pig, The pig had a wooden leg, by the way. I forgot to tell you that part. And so then he goes, yeah, that's interesting, but he's got a wooden leg. He goes, let me tell you more about the pig. He goes, then another time, he goes, that pig saved my life, man. I was under the tractor, and a pig, with his own weight, pushed up the tractor and hurt his spine. He had disc issues later, but he did it for me on account he loves me. And he goes, well, but still, you only got the wooden leg. Never mind that, the guy says. He says, listen to my stories about the pig. He goes, this pig, well, last summer, the big fire, you heard about the big fire? You never heard about it? It was a big fire. It was a big fire all down the rural Route 20 here, and it hit our house the worst. Anyways, the wife and I are very sound sleepers, and we didn't hear anything. And if it weren't for the pig who hit his snout on the window outside of our bedroom, hit it with such ferocity that it smashed the window open, and we escaped, the black smoke, then we would not be alive today. Why we belong to this pig. This pig, we would not exist without it. It's our most prized possession, if you could even call it that. We love that pig more than anything. And so then the guy said, but I still don't understand. How come it's got a wooden leg? And then the guy says, are you kidding me, man? Have you even been listening to me? You can't eat a great pig like that all at once. You haven't heard a word I've said? What is wrong with you? Hey, folks, you've been great. God bless. Keep up the good work. And may God save your soul.